Hey everyone, welcome back to our scenes. So in today's video we'll be starting with the new chapter, that is carbon and its compound. This particular video being the first part for the chapter. So let's get started. Carbon and its compound. Before dealing with the compounds of carbon, let's just talk about carbon. Okay, let us introduce ourselves about carbon. So carbon basically is a non-metal. It comes under non-metal category, and carbon is denoted as C. Capital C is nothing but carbon. Carbon is a very versatile element. You can find it in the gaseous form, you can find it in mineral form, you can find it in all the living forms as well. So in mineral form, under the Earth's crust, you're going to find 0.02% of carbon, and as carbon dioxide, you're going to find 0.03%, and remaining out of the 100%, this is what we have given, those are just minor value. So the rest are found in living forms, okay, in plants and animals. We all are made up of carbon compounds. Hence, the majority of the living population is nothing but we are actually carbons. Now, this was about carbon. For talking about compounds, first we need to see when a compound is formed, that means carbon is bonding with other elements. So how does carbon connect with other elements, or how does it bond with other elements? That we are going to see now. To understanding the bonding of carbon, first we need to understand its electronic configuration. So atomic number of carbon is 6. Now, if you are dividing it in terms of shells, we know that the first shell is K shell, and K can take maximum of 2 electrons. So under K shell, out of 6, 2 electrons will be held. So now from 6, 2 electrons are here, so the remaining are 4 electrons, and this 4 electrons will go to the next shell, that is L shell. So after K shell, whatever shells come on, it can take a maximum of 8 electrons. But here we have got only 4. Now what is this 8 electrons? It is a stable structure, what we call as octet structure. Okay, we are going to talk about this in detail in the chapter periodic classification. So whenever a shell other than K, the upper shells, if they have got 8 electrons, then they are the stable ones. They don't need anybody, they are not going to give them as well. But so here all the shells, all such shells, the outer shells, that try to somehow get this octet structure either by giving electrons or by taking electrons. Okay, whichever is actually easier, they go for that. So now let's see in this case, we have got 4 electrons here. So to get the octet structure, either L shell has to take 4 electrons from somebody else. So either it has to be plus 4, or they have to remove this 4. So if they remove this 4, this is going to be the outer shell, and this is going to be completely filled. So K shell can take no more than 2. Only for the K shell we don't have the octet structure. Other shells have got octet structures. So now, taking plus 4, if you are adding 4 electrons here, what is the possibility? See here, the number of whatever atomic number we have for the element, the same number of protons are present in the nucleus. So as you can see here, we have got 6 protons here, and the remaining 6 electrons are here. As you can see, in the first shell we have got 2, in the second shell we have got 4. So this 6 protons have the capability to keep the 6 electrons in check. Now, if you are adding 4, suppose so, if you are adding 4, then the electron number will become 10. 6 protons cannot handle 10 electrons. It is going to lose somehow. The electron will not remain stable because the protons will not have the capability to hold them. So this particular thought is discarded. Now, coming to the point where removing my 4 electrons, let us talk about how we can remove 4 electrons. So to remove 4 electrons here, this is 6 electrons are holding this 6 electrons. Now, to remove this 4 electrons, we have got some attraction force over here, right? These protons are attracting these electrons and they're keeping them in check. They're not letting them escape. So if you are supposed to remove these 4 electrons, you need to supply energy more than whatever the attraction force is existing over here. So if you're supplying more, then only you'll be able to remove them. Now, in this case, due to the nearness of the shell to the nucleus, since it's only the second shell, and due to its half-filled orbital, it is going to be very, very difficult to remove this. You need to supply a very high amount of energy to get them removed. So again, that thought is also discarded. So removing and gaining is not at all possible. So what are the other possibilities? The other possibility is sharing. So now this particular carbon needs 4 electrons. Somebody else might also be needing such kind of stuff where they are not able to give or take, but they are able to share. So when such possibility occur, covalent bond comes into existence. So a covalent bond is nothing but a bond formed by sharing of electrons between atoms. Okay, so when there is a sharing of electrons happening between two atoms, we call such kind of bonds by sharing, we call it as covalent bond. How does this occur? What are the possibilities? We are going to see that forth. Now, let's study covalent bonding in different atoms, the simpler ones, before moving on for the covalent bonding in terms of carbons. So we're going to start with the very simple element, that is hydrogen. We're going to see this hydrogen molecules which contains 2 atoms of hydrogen. They bond to one another with the help of covalent bond. So how is it happening? We're going to see that. So atomic number of just a single hydrogen is 1. So one hydrogen is having 1 electron. The other hydrogen is having other electron. Okay, so as you can see here, to make it the concept clearer and simple, I have used 2 different colors. Though both the elements are same, this is just to show you the bonding. Okay, so now you know that hydrogen have got only one shell, the K shell, and you know K can take maximum of only 2 electrons, no more, no less. Okay, so now in both these cases, they need one more electron. This hydrogen needs one more, this hydrogen needs one more to complete, to actually keep their shell filled, the stomach filled. So how they are going to do that? Both are in need of electrons, right? Now, they are going to, their shell and this shell is going to overlap, and now this electron and this electron are going to settle at the center. So now if you see, this is the shell part for hydrogen. Under this shell part itself, we are going to get these 2 electrons. Similarly for this hydrogen, if you see, this is the shell, right? Under this itself, we are getting the 2 electrons. So somehow they are not giving the electrons completely. This hydrogen has not given this completely. This hydrogen has not given this completely. But they are sharing. Somehow they are satisfied now and they are stable. So now if you see, this hydrogen has 2 electrons and this hydrogen has 2 electrons by sharing. So when one electron of one atom and one electron of other atom share, so from 2 sides if you have 1, this forms one bond. So one, so one bond by sharing 2 electrons. That is one from this side and one from this side. Now here we have seen sharing of a single pair. What happens if you are sharing 2 pairs, like in case of oxygen gas? So oxygen gas that we breathe, it is made up of 2 atoms of oxygen, whereas atomic number of a single atom of oxygen is 8. So if I have to divide it in terms of shells, as you all know, K will take only 2, the remaining 6 will go in L. So outermost shell of oxygen has 6 electrons, but out of this 6 electrons, if you see here, I have drawn over here. So see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, same thing over here, just with a different color since we have got 2 atoms. Okay, now this 2 and this 2 electrons are paired. Paired means this is a pair of this is a pair of this. That means they don't need anybody else. They are having their own partners. Now, you might be thinking that why not these 2 are the partners? No, because their spinning is different. Okay, electrons pair in such a way. One has to be in the other direction, other has to be in the other direction. Whereas these 2 are in the same directions like this. Okay, so now this one and this one both are having the same spin. Same goes for the other side as well. So what they are going to do is they need pairs from the other side, from the other atoms. So that is the reason why this 4 electrons, what you can see over here and here, they are not going to undergo the pairing. Okay, they are not going to participate in the bond formation, but the ones which are not paired, they are going to come between, okay, for the bond formation. So now when these 2 are brought together, these 2 electrons are pairing with this 2. So this is one bond and this is one bond. So as you can see here, 2 bonds. So they are sharing. See here, to complete the octet structure, this had to have 2 electrons, right? So now that 2 electrons is fulfilled by sharing of this. If you take this in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 2, 8. Same goes for the other atom. So again, we have got by the help of covalent bond, the octet structure is filled and we have got 2 bonds. Now, going for the ones with 3 bonds. That is in the case of nitrogen gas. Okay, again, this nitrogen gas is made up of 2 atoms of nitrogen. Atomic number of nitrogen is 7. So the first shell have got 2 and the second shell have got 5. Now, in this case, out of 5, 2 electrons are paired, remaining 3 are unpaired. So see here, it's not just a simple logic. We are not just coming up by our own that so and so number of atoms are not paired and so number of atoms are paired. There is a proper logic behind it, a very detailed explanation which you do not have in your chapter. That is the reason why we are omitting the certain part. Okay, otherwise it's a very detailed concept where you have to study about the orbitals, why this 3 are not paired and why not this can join, why not this 2 can join over here. A detailed explanation we have, but since you don't have in the concept, we are not going to go through it. So just remember the stuff that you have got 3 unpaired electrons over here. So this 2 and this 2 are not going to take pair, whereas this 3 and this 3, since they are not paired, they are going to take part in the bond formation for sharing of electrons. So once again, as you can see here, they are coming closer, this 3 and this 3 in the bond formation. So together you are going to get 3 electrons. So that was about the atoms. Now we are going to see a simple one, a simple carbon atom, where you are going to study the bond formation for it. So methane is the simplest organic compound, that is carbon compound, with 1 atom of carbon and 4 atoms of hydrogen. As you have seen before, in the outermost shell, carbon had 4 electrons, right? Either it has to take 4 or give 4, which was not at all possible. So now it needed 4 electrons to actually cover up. This 4 electrons not necessarily comes from 1 atom only. It can come from 4 different atoms as well. Like in this case, if you can see here, this is my carbon, okay, and this 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, this red colored X what I have drawn, they are the electrons of carbon, whereas H, wherever you can see, along with H you can see a dot. So this dot belongs to, this is the electron which belongs to hydrogen. Same goes for here, same goes here, and same goes here. You know that hydrogen's atomic number is 1 and it needs 1 electron to complete its octet structure. That is its first shell, 2 electrons, right? So in the K shell you can take only 2 electrons to complete the shell structure. So now hydrogen is in need, each hydrogen is in need of 1 electron, whereas carbon is in need of 4. So this carbon, 1 electron, okay, is helping, each electron is helping each hydrogen. Similarly, each hydrogen is helping with 1 electron. So together if you see, this blue color boundary is for carbon. So carbon is having its own 4 along with the 4 from the hydrogen, whereas each hydrogen has got electrons from hydrogen as well, and that is how they have completed their octet structure. Now, let's talk about the physical properties of covalent bond. We have seen how the covalent bond works. We have seen how bonding occurs. So covalent compounds, they have low melting and boiling points. The reason is because they have weak intermolecular forces. They are not as strong as the other bonds. Hence, this is the reason why you'll have low melting and low boiling points. Other than that, they are generally poor conductors of heat and electricity because they don't have free electrons, right? All the electrons, whatever they are supposed to be free, they are bonded for covalent bonding. That is for sharing purpose, they are bonded. You don't have any charged particles available freely to actually conduct electricity. This is the reason why they are the most poor conductors of electricity and heat. So that was about covalent bond. Okay, hope the concept is clear to you. If you like my video, do give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And of course, don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified for my future videos. Till then, if you have got any doubt, you can just leave a comment at the bottom and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.